podcast. I am your host, Maritza Perez. We are here today with a wanderer, a traveler, an amateur photographer with a poet's soul, an author. Her name, Malik Garg. Anu, I would like to read your bio to our audience right now.
Thank
Malik
you.
Garg is a versatile writer, poet, and advocate for mental health. From her early days as a poetic young girl to her career as a journalist and contest strategist. She has explored various creative pursuits. Anu is a passionate traveler and amateur photographer with a poet's soul, finding inspiration in nature and life's experiences. As a design thinking trainer and facilitator, she empowers children and youth with the "I can" spirit for empathy and problem-solving skills. During COVID-19 pandemic, Anu launched the #Take a Pause initiative, conducting workshops on mental health for different age groups across India. She authored Freefifties, a transformative book of poems, prose, and exercises that became an Amazon bestseller. Through her work, Anu aims to empower women and youth on their journey to self-discovery and healing. She is currently working on her second self-help book. Connect with her on Instagram or via email, and I'll put all the links in the chat. Anu, it is a pleasure to have you, an honor to have you. I am very excited about today's interview. Welcome to My Accent is No Accident.
Thank you, Maritza. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and I'm so happy to talk to you.
I am very happy to. And I am going to start with a question that I ask all of my guests. My first question is, Anu, tell me, what is your accent and why it's not an accident?
My accent is Indian, and why it's not an accident is because I'm an Indian. I was born in India, and it's actually what we speak is a mix of English and Hindi. It's called Hinglish. We are in the dictionary now, Oxford Dictionary, a lot of our words, and that's where my accent comes from.
Excellent. And then we'd like to talk a little bit about your journey as a writer. You are an author, but you have done many things in your life. So you started writing ever since you were a little girl.
Yes. So writing is so I think God gives you one special gift. It's with everyone. It's for you to raise it. For me, it has been writing. I've been writing since little girl. I mean, I used to write poetry on my favorite topics, and my father was my first and my all time favorite topic. That's where my journey began, but I never took it seriously. It was just a hobby. I went on to do a management career and took a sabbatical, raised a family, and then after 5 years sabbatical, I wanted to restart. And of course, my writing came into to rescue me, so to say, or it became my first career choice, you know. And I started writing as I became a freelance journalist with newspapers. I was in Delhi at that point of time, and of course, having said that, my biggest the goal was also to meet a superstar, and I fulfilled that goal. So those 10 years as a journalist in Delhi was beautiful. It was all the glitz and the glamour and the hard work and the late nights. You know, when the editions would go for printing, it was a very exciting, different journey. and it was a lot of learning as you go. 11 years ago, we moved to Singapore, and that's where, a totally new, it was a totally new beginning as a trailing spouse. Of course, I continued my journalist stint and I would freelance with a lot of magazines and newspapers in Singapore. Having said that, I also picked up a lot of new things. At that time, social media was booming. So I ventured into content writing from the commercial angle, as well as what I think another thing that came to me by fate, you can say, was design thinking. I joined an organization in Singapore, and where we were taught design thinking and to infuse the spirit of I can into the children and the youth. We would go to schools and do workshops. And I think again that was the most beautiful phase of my life. Maybe because of being a mother, it's always so empowering to see that click, when you bring that spark in a child's
Yes, yes,
life, and you see that change happening in that child. Oh, it can be done like this, so it was beautiful, and that's one thing. And of course, the I love traveling. We've traveled all across the world. I love photography. My children were my muse. Unfortunately, they're now grown up. I'm back to nature photography now. And of course, pandemic hit, and that's the time when I it was a combination of all that I had learned. I'd done a lot of event management also in Singapore. Through this, we worked with 70 countries across the world, have children from all across the world, and then have festivals. So I
yes,
used all those multiple skills that I had, and of course, as a design thinking trainer. And the closest workshop that I had that is close to my heart is uh, for the youth. Take a pause for the youth, where we took them through a workshop and they designed their own mental health first aid kit. I think that was so heartening, and the feedback that the youth came out with, the high school children, the early junior college children, and they I mean, because it's a very simple thing when we get as a bandage. But when your heart hurts, what is there for us? For a very small hurt, I cannot keep going to a doctor or a counselor. I need to understand myself and handle my little injuries, the mental injuries also myself. But no
yes.
one teaches the children these days. And of course, the last phase, or not the last, but the most exciting phase is we moved back to India. And it coincided with the book that I had been writing. And I turned 50 last year. And the book is Freefifties. So I'm an author now.
I love it. I love it. So, and it became a bestseller.
Absolutely.
And wow, that is like a wonderful story, like of so many travels and so many places that you went and different things that you did. And I remember the ICANN movement. And I think many countries copied and took on that as well. Um, and fostering the children is one of the things that I love because I do relate with you. Um, Having a child also, I love the way they, like you're saying, the way they develop some problem solving skills and they get it and they get excited and it is wonderful working with children. I love it. Um, and I would like to ask you, because you said it very fast, you wanted to meet a celebrity and you actually fulfilled that dream.
Yes, I did. I wanted to meet Shah Rukh Khan, and he is like since I've been a teenager, and we've been he's the heartthrob that we all follow, and I actually got a chance to meet him one to one, at a press conference. So yes, my dream did come true.
Oh, that is amazing. So he was in the press conference or you went to his press conference as a journalist?
Yes, I went to the press conference as a journalist, but it was a very small, select people. We were just 15 people there. So it was very, very close, up
Oh,
close, one to
wow.
one. Dreams do come true.
Oh, what a beautiful experience. And that is what you're saying, dreams come true, is also a part of your books and part of your writing. Um, the last book that you wrote was Freefifties, and I loved it. And I think I haven't read it yet, but I loved, and I think that that's when I connected with you. You posted something about the book, and I'm like, I need to talk to this woman. I need to connect with her.
Oh, wow, the wide reached.
Yes, you did. So tell me about what is Freefifties.
Um, Freefifties is, I would say it's a journey. So when I turned 50, I was at that pivotal moment of life. Suddenly you realize, oh my God, 50 years gone. And it was like a report card time. It was a shock. And I was like, what have I done? And it's like I just sat to analyze myself that what is it that I have done in the last so many years and what would I like to do? Because I was also at a time I was also an empty nester now. My kids have, grown up, they're out of the house, and suddenly, it's just me and my husband and everyone's I've been working throughout, but yes, still there is some kind of an emptiness when the children leave because you're so used to programming everything around them. And suddenly that thing was missing. And another thing that I realized was, in that self introspection phase, that I'm a very different person today. So the children keep throwing things at you. Mom, you're good at that. Why don't you try that? Singing. Why don't you do that? But I used to love that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm not what I was. So I have evolved as a person. Plus,
Yes,
there's a lot of baggage that you carry that makes you unhappy or happy, but mainly unhappy, right? And what is it that I want to do now in the next 10, 15 years, 20 years of my life? What is it that I want to do? So, being a design thinking trainer, I just take out my book and I do the 5 whys, why, and then of course I do a lot of mind mapping. I spent good amount of 1 month, 2 months sitting with myself, getting to know myself and writing down things what makes me unhappy, and what are the trigger points, what is it that I want in my life? What is meaningful for me now? And that is where the concept of the book was born. There was a lot of poetry that I had written, a lot of prose that I had written, and that's how the book was born. And
yes,
it is in kind of two parts. The first part is I went back to my memory lane. I walked the path again and went and met the little teenager, went and met the young mother who's very frustrated and left notes for them. Little things that made me sad, things that made me happy, I did myself at lot of this. You I shouldn't have done those things. Maybe not too much of sacrifice, too much of sitting, putting yourself at the back seat. It wasn't required. No one asked me to do it. In your family, everyone treats you equally. No one asks you
mm,
or no one
yes,
puts you at the back seat. You do it yourself. And because of that, you lose a lot. You miss on a lot of things. So there, the aspirations still are there. So, and the second part is, of course, so that's the process of self healing, self discovery. And the second part is the free 50s. I like to call it that. I mean, it's about creating a new bucket list, who I am. It's about what I'm passionate about. It's like finding my own happiness. I actually sat and did an exercise. What would my epitaph say?
yes.
How would my children remember me? I mean, did I do all those things that I would write on that epitaph? So that's what the book is. Plus, it is not just my journey. Everyone that I've talked to, everyone is going through the same thing. We're all human beings, we're all women, we all go through the same thing. So there are exercises there. So when you as a reader, Maritza, when you read it, it's also your journey because there are times where you can relate to your journey. You write about your pivotal moments, pivotal points, and it is going to become your journey of self-discovery and self-healing.
And that is beautiful because it created a lot of connection with other women that were in their 50s. And they then also, not only is the book, but now you, as per our conversation that we were having before, now you kind of like have like a group of women that write to you and send you notes saying, this is helping me so much through my 50s, realizing and doing the exercise and reading the book is helping me. How does that feel for you? And how do you open like a group, or are you planning to open a group?
Yes, number one, the response has been amazing. I mean, we even had a Free 50s designed birthday party. There's this woman, she was having her 50th birthday. She actually designed it around the book, and she gifted the big book to all her friends who had come. So, and of course, we are having workshops. Every reader is entitled to a free workshop, wherein I take them through this journey, because it's different when you read on a book. You might go through it, you might not go through it. So it's a 1 hour workshop to take them through the whole journey. And yeah, I think it's the response has been really, really good.
Awesome. So you're doing a workshop to do the exercises of the book, which is
Yes.
amazing because for what I read on your LinkedIn, there are many women that are actually relating and loving the book and practicing these exercises.
Oh, yes, when they come back and say that, okay, it became my journey. I know how to find the path to my happiness. I was unhappy, and now I know, how to be happy, and I can take care of my mental health myself. I did not, and comments like, I did not really know who's the new me. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for making me rediscover the new me, the new evolved me. And I think these are some things, honestly, I was not expecting it. So it's really heartening to actually hear this kind of feedback.
Yes, it is wonderful, and
Yeah.
I bet it feels amazing. So there is another book coming,
Yes.
and when can we expect
Uh,
to?
Soon, very soon. I'm working on it. It's very similar to the concept of, it's basically targeted for youth. Again, it will be a mix of, because it's youth, it cannot be poetry. I'm trying to understand their lingo, and so that they vibe with the book. And of course, it will have those activities and those self-help kind of a thing, where again, it will be connected to mental health again.
This is excellent. I love it because you are an advocate, a passionate advocate in mental health, and you not only women, but you also help children and teenagers, the youth on this. And one of the initiatives that I love that you created during COVID-19, during the pandemic, which is the tab you already mentioned, it, the take a pause. Um, Tell us a little bit about this.
So Take a Pause was an initiative where we started with senior citizens. We had a lot of workshops, online workshops, because it was COVID at that time. For senior citizens, it was just fun exercises, fun things where we wanted the seniors to kind of feel special and be a part of a community. And then, of course, there were women. We did it especially for women. At that time, there was a lot of mental health pressure. Uh, Everyone was going through it. And the last thing that we did was for youth. Youth, and of course, through the Singapore this thing organization, we also did DFC Connect, where we connected with a lot of children from across the world, because there was no one. The children were so fearful. They were not in school. They were not in their playgrounds. They were not meeting their friends. I mean, there was so much of inner fear. Suddenly, their life had changed, and there was no one to actually address those fears. We were so busy. The parents, the adults were so busy, actually trying to figure out how to sort things. So even for children, and of course, the last one for youth. I think through all these exercises, what I normally promote is, it's not about exercises. My step by step journey is getting to know yourself. How do you, how much do you know about yourself? It's like you go to a doctor and you tell, okay, I have a stomach ache, I have this, I have this. You have 5 symptoms, and the doctor prescribes a medicine according to that, right? So
Yes.
similarly, the whole idea is get to know, write down your symptoms, get to know yourself, understand your trigger factors. A lot of youth, they would come, I can't breathe before an interview, or I go blank before an exam. These are triggers. These are the symptoms. And they just, what we did, we just said, okay, these are 5 exercises which will divert your mind. Why don't you try it? They actually tried it and they picked out one. And that became part of their mental health first aid kit. I cannot sleep. I am so tense. Normal. Okay. Every child goes through it. Even adults go through it. Fine. No problem. What would make you fall asleep? Someone tried music. Someone out music. Someone changed the color of the room. Someone just readjusted their bedroom. So children did it themselves. They tried different things. Whatever worked, they added it into their mental health first aid kit.
Oh, amazing.
So it's the same with women. Understand yourself, find your triggers, try and help yourself. You are your first aider.
I absolutely love this because it is not only helping and I love the way that you started with seniors because it is very important for them to continue social life and yes, during the pandemic I lived with my mom and it was very, very more no more social groups with her oldies like I called it. And it was very dramatic for them. They felt also my mom felt a little bit isolated because she couldn't see her group of seniors. So when you multiply that by many, and maybe all of them were feeling the same way. I love that. I love the way you put take a pause. I love the way you are expressing yourself with your own experiences and likes, dislikes, and with love about your 50s and your journey. And the one thing that is amazing about this is that it's inclusive and it's diverse. It takes in account everyone, children, any age, and anyone, anywhere can do any of these exercises and read your books and feel the same way because we are all connected and we are all part of the same world.
Absolutely.
I am so happy for this. We have come to the end and I will love to continue and we will probably be hours and hours talking about this. I everybody buy her books and her last book,
Freefifties, a guided journey of self-healing, self-reflection, and self-love for women above 50.
every woman needs to buy it and have it on the nightstand. And how they can contact you.
I'm on Instagram, author Anu Garg, and that's my email ID as well, authoranugarg@gmail.com. And yeah, I would love to hear from you.
Incredible. So you can contact her at author Anu Garg in Instagram, LinkedIn, and the email at gmail.com. Thank you
Yes,
so much for being here with us. And for my audience, you came to this world because a greatest force or God, depending on what you believe, brought you here with love to be loved and to love each other. See you next time. Bye.
thank you, Maritza.
Hi, it's Maritza here. If you like this episode of My Accent is No Accident podcast and would like to listen more like this, subscribe wherever you're listening to it or watching it. Leave us a nice review and share with your friends, family, and network. Thanks for listening.